Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.
Hello and welcome to The Money Factor, our show on local business and personal finance topics. I'm Richard Naylor, your host. Small businesses are a vital part of our local economy, and yet we may have heard that 50% of our businesses fail within 5 years. Our guest today is David Lurie from SCORE, who are working to improve the odds for success. Let's meet him and discuss what they do. Hi, David.
Hello.
Glad you could be on the show.
Indeed. Thank you.
Let's dig right in. I'm not sure everybody knows what SCORE is. A wonderful organization that helps small businesses.
We think so, yes, indeed.
Could you just tell us a little
Sure.
about
SCORE is a group of some retired ladies and gentlemen, and some not retired, or some people in their second or third career inventions, that have come together as part of a national organization. And we're sponsored by the Small Business Administration, so we call an affiliate of them. We're sponsored by them. And we offer no charge consulting or counseling advice to people either in business today, want to go into business, and also to local not-for-profit organizations may need some assistance, because they're a small business as well. This sometimes not considered to be that, but the same tenets apply to that. And we offer counseling or private consultations with these people. And we like to do is build relationships with them, so the counseling is not just a 1-hour venture. It could go on for several weeks or several years, and they can think of us as their mentor, and we can work with them to do it. The SCORE counselors come from a wide variety of backgrounds. We have some in a professional side, and we have some rocket scientists, no doubt, and we have many people involved in the retail network, a lot of government people. So all industries are well represented and have a lot of resources behind us to be able to help people out.
When I first saw SCORE on your website, I thought, this is too good to be true. For years, we've had people come in the library looking for help, often seeming like they didn't have a clue about what they had to do next. And it's just wonderful that people are taking the time to help. Yes. Now, I mentioned some statistics that in the past have seemed a bit negative. I've read that 80% of businesses fail within 5 years. With those kinds of odds, you almost wonder, is it worth it? But newer information clarifying that has said that, well, many of those left because they sold, maybe they were bought, maybe they retired. So it's not really that bad. It's more like 50%.
You're right.
Which means the glass is half full.
You're right. Yeah, the numbers are misleading, because you need to, just like you do research for a term paper or going into business, you need to dig deeper and analyze. And the common terminology today is drill down. We want to drill down and understand what do those numbers mean and where do they come from. And I tell our clients we work with, more importantly, we want to give you the powerful tools to analyze your situation, so you don't become one of those statistics that is really meaningless to understand it. And some of the tools that we can provide to analyze the situation for a client may include learning how to read the newspaper, how to read the Wall Street Journal, so you get the story behind the story, and understand trends. And coming to your library, understand what resources are available downstairs to look at trends in certain industries, to identify how am I going to analyze what I want to do vis-a-vis other people in this industry in a different part of the country, so we're not in a competitive situation. And how do I analyze why other businesses of this nature make money, and why do some not make any money? So it's really providing those tools, I guess I'll call them critical thinking skills maybe, or critical analytical skills, to provide our clients, we call them clients, okay, with the right tools so they can go out and make their own decisions. Our SCORE counselors won't tell people what to do, because we're not here to do that. But what we want to do is give them the tools so they can make intelligent business decisions that either will work for them or tell them, maybe I need to refine the direction that I'm going a little bit.
So if we could reduce the number of people that fail by simply helping them understand whether they should do it or not and how they should go about it, we could have much better statistics.
Certainly, it certainly will, right.
What is your target market? Is there specific types of businesses that you help, or?
Everybody wants to come in has an opportunity to work with us, we do, again, it's like one-on-one counseling on Wednesdays and Thursday mornings at our offices off Computer Drive South, or on 4th Road. And we also offer evening appointments, recognizing some people work during the day and can't be off of work to do that. And we will also make what I call site visits. So maybe an organization would like to work with us, maybe 2 or 3 of their board of directors want to get together, and we'll go to their offices if you'd like.
So there's not a limit on size?
Oh, not at all. It can be one person, and I've been in organizations that had 50 people, and they all wanted to come to the meeting. So I had to go out and arrange for a conference room to bring all 50 people in. And I said, you better have just 1 or 2 spokespeople, because I can't talk to all 50 of you. That might be too much of a challenge even for me to do that.
That makes sense.
So all organizations, if you want to just start a business to do landscaping, or if you have a high-tech device and you want to find a way to promote it and market it, we can help you with that. So no limits on either size or types of industry or ideas. And some of our clients want to come to us and say, I have an idea. Help me refine this idea. And is there a market for it? It's maybe a great peanut butter scraper to you, but if you can't sell it,
right.
it goes on your bookcase as a memento for a great thought. So we have to
And it's usually not a pleasant thought if you put the money into it that most people have to put into
That's
it.
right. That's for sure. So sometimes helping our clients find the right direction that's going to make sure they're going to be a success, we'll do that. And one of the ways we do that is a business plan outline that we provide. Sometimes our clients will come to us and say, I've been to a bank, and I've asked them for X thousands of dollars to get my little venture started. And the banker said, that'd be great. We'd love to help you. May I see your business plan?
Oh, what?
And our clients look at them and say, I have a rig on today. No, they're looking for a business plan.
Right.
So they find us eventually through the referral of a banker, perhaps, or the SBA. And we will work with them to put a business plan together. And we start with that either through a counseling one-on-one session, or they go to our website and we have our outline of our business plan set up with all that. So it's identifying what they're trying to do, the structure of the business, some marketing plans, how to suggest some projected financials. Can I make money doing this? Or if it's just going to be a hobby and not a real business for all that. So we want to start there and help them build that business plan so they can present that to the bank or the lending institution and say, okay, here's my idea in written form with some financial projections that say, I can make a go with this, but I need some money to start with.
Now, if somebody calls you, how many visits are they allowed? Is this like psychology? You get 6 visits and then they say no more subsidization.
Well, fortunately, we don't have an insurance company that does that cutoff time with us. The visits for the clients are open, and we tell our clients, as long as the counselors see progress you are making. If you're writing a business plan and you write, say, first I'm going to do the marketing program, and I'm going to come back and let you look at that. That's fine. Or I'll do the financials. I'll work with the counselors on the financial projections and such. As long as we see progress, good progress, you're welcome to come work with us open-ended, no limit. Some clients take several months to put a plan together. Some take several years because they keep refining it, or an idea comes to them, or they take a tangent comes, and it goes on and on. But as long as we see progress, we'll continue working. And we'll also have the ability to bring in other counselors that may have a different field of expertise. Someone may say, I need some expertise in some financial projections. If one of our counselors says, I want to bring in somebody to help us with this, we have an opportunity to do that. So many counselors will jump the fence and work over with somebody for some additional weeks or months or years, if that may be the case for them. So.
Because financial projections, I guess, can run from simple to very complex.
Yes, indeed. And most lending groups are looking for a 3-year projection. Some people are daunted by that. Well, it's hard enough to do a 1 year, but how am I going to find a 3-year projection to make that work? And we can help with all that, those numbers. And in fact, on our website, there is a cash flow analysis, a cash flow projection statement that in an Excel format, so anybody can just take that and start with it.
So that would be a good idea
to
to look at that.
We always suggest to the clients, before they come in, write down your questions. So the counselors work with you, write down your questions so you make sure you get the answers when you leave, because this is your time as well as valuable. And also take a look on our website and see some of the resources that we have so you're familiar with our capabilities to do that.
Now there's such a range of experience that people come with. I suppose some come with an idea and not much else, and others come with a very specific question.
Oh yes.
How do you work with the person first that comes with an idea and wants to start something but really has never been in business before?
Sure. It's a great question. And I always go back to my own personal feeling that marketing is everything. If you understand marketing of this product, whether it be a ballpoint pen or a ruler or an attachment to go on a lawnmower, whatever it may be, if you can find a way to market this and understand your audience and your target audience and how you're going to make it work, that's fine and dandy. If you don't have those tools, we're going to teach you those tools. We'll give you some of those tools. So it's back to Marketing 101.
Okay.
And we do provide several seminars throughout the year of introduction to marketing and some examples. And we go back to the things, you need to read something so you're up to speed, okay? And you could start with the Wall Street Journal, has features about entrepreneurship, and online journal is available at no charge for everybody in this country. You come to the library and look at it if you like. You can read the paper, look at the local business review publication. Great ideas inside there too. So just like anything else, you divide the problems, understand, and then take one step at a time. So look at the marketing program first. Is there a viable market for this? And again, we're not going to answer that question. We're going to give the tools to the client, and they're going to need to answer that question. But we'll help with the right questions. Because remember, at school, you're taught, at least I was taught, if you don't ask the right questions, there's no way you're going to find the right answer. So we're going to help them ask the right kind of questions first to do that. So that's part of the, I guess I would say, the critical analytical thinking skills that our counselors will make affordable to our clients and bring that to the table for them.
It brings out something that I didn't think of before. I ask about your patients, but obviously you really would like to see people come in with patients on their own, not that they're going to be passive, but that they're going to listen and react, and so that they'll work with you and give and take.
Well, you're right. Many times it's we have to draw out the real issue the client has because they're unable to articulate that in our language. So sometimes it's just a freewheeling conversation, and then you get off on a tangent, and that's where you understand what the client is trying to do, or some hidden talent the client has that maybe we didn't realize because they thought it was not important. And I'll give you an example of that. Several months ago, a counselor and myself were working with a young lady, and we're trying to really focus what she really has to do with this. And it wasn't going anywhere. And I was getting a little frustrated. An hour and a half, I'm just not getting anywhere. And I said, I can do better than this. So I put the papers down on the table and said, let's just talk for a while. So we talked about where she came from, what she did. She says, oh, I'm very fluent Mandarin. I said, oh, I wish you'd told me that an hour and a half ago. But that changes the picture a little bit. Then we gave her some suggestions how she can take her existing talent and her capabilities and put them into her plan, what she wants to do. So we need sometimes to drill down ourselves to understand what is the real problem and how can we address that issue best for the client to do that. Because again, it's in our counselor's part, we have to ask the right questions so we can get the right answers so we can help the client do with all that. And I guess in a very similar situation, we have to be able to identify where the client should A, not quit their day job, and B, go out and learn how to research the industry you're interested in joining. If you have never worked in the industry, you want to open a pizza shop. Why? Well, I like to eat a lot of pizza. That's the wrong reason to own a pizza shop. I want you to go out and work in the industry for a while on the counter and maybe learn how to do the buying with your employer and try to learn a little bit about the industry. Trade publications can certainly help. Getting a job in the industry certainly helps to do that. And understand, because it's not all just serving pizza across the counter. That's the least of it. So we want to make sure our clients understand the depth of the industry that they want to be involved with. And again, we provide the tools to help them do all that. And one of those other tools would be go visit a similar shop or similar business outside of this market area so you're not a competitive threat. And you'll find most small business owners love to talk about their operation. And they'll set the relationship up. The chemistry is there. You can talk to them at length, and they'll tell you, here's how it worked for me, but here are some of the stumbling blocks that I want to pass on to you so you don't make some of the same silly mistakes that I made, that they can help with that. So tools of the trade sometimes aren't always that visible at first. You think about that, and you could go out and talk to people and say, okay, what can I learn from this person over here, and what can I learn from somebody else? And I can make my chances of success, like we started with, that much better for everybody to do.
So we talked about patience, and I put patience into being able to listen and react and work with you so that you're making progress and not getting frustrated. But there's a time issue that you just brought up that maybe we go into a little more depth. That is, how long should it take? Because if you're going to go get a job in a pizza place so that you understand the business, and maybe that would be exactly what they should do in their position. They may never have done that, or they may have. What kind of a time frame should someone look for when they want to start a business?
That's a tough one to answer because people, some cases, may be desperate. They may have worked in an industry and found the industry through some consolidations or sales. They now no longer have a position there.
GE, for example.
GE or WorldCom. We had a lot of what I call WorldCom graduates come through our system to do that. So it depends also on the family situation. If your spouse is out there with a full-time picture and income is there to generate the family expenses and make that work, you can sort of take your time to make sure you're going in the right direction.
Okay.
So again, I'd like to see if the client says, I'll be back in a month, or I'll send you an email within the next 30 days giving you my process and any of my questions I have, that's fine and dandy with me to set through for it. If it's a hobby and it's going to stay a hobby, then maybe you should look somewhere else for advice because we want to look people to do that. But hobbies are okay, but it's hard to turn a hobby into a paying occupation. That's a real leap to do that. And again, it goes back to marketing. Is there a market for my gift basket that I like to prepare, or my sheet cakes? Can I actually make any money doing this? Given
and you didn't volunteer to help somebody with a hobby. You volunteered to help people with real life problems.
Real business situation, right? Do that. And but we will work with someone as long as they have the interest and they're willing to do their homework in a sense. So we do give homework out. We do suggest that here's what you need to do, all right? And we like to write, at least many of our counsels like to write an action plan for a client. Before they leave, I want you to know what are you going to do in the next month or so from all the discussions we've had the past hour or so. What are you going to do? And we ask them to write those out. And you keep a copy and I'll keep a copy and we'll follow up with you or you follow up with us to do that. So it's a little bit of a hand-holding situation, but some people need that. But also gives some direction for the counselor's next visit to ask them, okay, we talked about the financials of your business plan. Let's see where you are. Show me the numbers. And let's see if it makes any sense or not. And obviously, like we're all experienced enough to know there's certain quick number tests you could do very quickly mathematically to make sure that this venture has some sound business numbers behind it that's going to make sense for people to do that.
So in a way, the test that the bank gives you in order to give you a loan, which many people need money to start up their business, is really very helpful.
Very much so.
Because if you can't convince the bank that you're going to be successful, maybe you can't.
That's right. You have to go sell yourself in a sense, and you have to be able to convince your lender or maybe some of your potential suppliers, because there are some industries that are, I'm going to call closed or tough to get into because you need a credit history. You just can't go walk into a wholesaler and say, I'm here, right? They want a little bit about you because you're out selling their product line to do that. So it's preparing the sales function and knowing how to build relationships with customers, with stakeholders, with vendors, with everybody else. Because if you can't do that, then maybe you should stay with your day job. Because the relationship building is to stay with something that you can go out and do on your own. Because many people have the ability perhaps to go out and sell a product every day, which is terrific. But on the street selling a product or a service is very different from running your own business. That's only one component of it. You still need to keep good records. You need to make projections. You need to work with vendors. You need to work with customers.
And maybe you need to develop a staff.
Over it. Yeah, so a lot of other issues come in to do that. Not to discourage people, but we want them to make sure they understand what is entitled for them and what's going to be in front of them that they're going to have to see every day.
Now people come in with ideas or they come in with questions, and you work them through tools, you ask them questions, you help refine their plan or give them whatever help they want. Yeah. Have you seen things change when they came in? Maybe I came in wanting to open a drive-in pizza place and I ended up doing something on the internet, or maybe I was a GE engineer that I had this idea, but it ended up different after counseling.
Exactly. We need to identify for the client sometimes what's their best direction. Yes, they come in with preconceived ideas that here's what I'm ready to do. And I can think of an example of someone not too long ago that I would like to relate. Individual wanted to do something with kids as an organization. And we went through some different capabilities that he has in terms of sports and academics and so on. And it came down to he needs to have a lot of money to do what he wants to do. Big dreams. That's okay. I think it's a great idea. I think work very well in the community that you want to focus on. And he wasn't really finely tuned to understand what is going on in the world around him. He was very much focused on his own thing. So I wanted to broaden his reach. I wanted to broaden his thinking to make some critical thinking skills about this. And I asked him, how familiar are you with our president's drive for the No Child Left Behind legislation and programs? Because this is what you're really doing, is trying to implement No Child Left Behind. And he really wasn't sure of the program. I said, what I'd like you to do is start some internet searches tonight, if you like, and find out about this program and some of the components of this and how you want to fit into all this. Because we all know one thing, there's a lot of money behind the president's program. And if there's a lot of money behind it, maybe you can find your fair share of that to do that. So I wanted you to broaden your reach, understand what's around you in the world so you can go out and be a part of that, and at the same time recognize that by reaching out and understanding what's happening around me in this industry, that's going to be, I'll call it an industry, you are going to be able to participate much easier than if you were on the outside trying to fight it all the time. So it's broadening the outlook, at the same time giving the critical thinking skills to participate and analyze it and to compare it. So
That's really fascinating. It's a powerful idea when I think when you give somebody something so strong, an idea that they can hook into that changes their way of thinking, because now they see that this is out there, it's a concept that relates directly to what they're doing, right. And they can now hook on like a wave, like maybe a surfer, and get into that.
They can do all that, sure.
How do your counselors manage to keep up with things, because this is not easy?
You're absolutely right. It's not, particularly for someone coming from working for themselves in industry for 30, 40 years or more. And 30, 40 years ago, we had a typewriter, which was a tool of the trade. And today, we call it an internet access computer. So learning new skills can be done. And our counselors want to learn new skills because they want to be able to speak the language of the X generation individual coming with us. They want to be able to speak the language of our other counselors who are still out there working and practicing in professions, marketing, finance, and so on. And to speak that language, you need to have obviously a good comprehension of what's happening today. And they can do that the same way our clients do it. Here's what I suggest. Wall Street Journal,
okay,
great local business paper, Business Week, Forbes, they do it. Look at the seminars that are offered in this community on a no-charge basis by other organizations and go to them and take advantage of them. I know several of our counselors do that, and it's sometimes a social network that does it, that's fine, but learn what's happening in certain business thoughts. Do it. You don't need to read the Harvard Business Review, although it's a great publication and it's available downstairs because that's how I have a chance to read it. But if you, again, look at the Wall Street Journal and look at what processes the large organizations are doing, and Business Week has a lot of very insight analysis of all that to do it. My favorite publication is The Economist. There's a world perspective or a global perspective. That it's just a remarkable publication. It's it takes a month to get through every issue, but eventually you get caught up to do that. So, and of course, by coming to the seminars that we produce at SCORE, or sometimes we'll outsource, someone will do the seminar for us. We invite all of our counselors to participate in our seminars. Nothing else will happen if essentially you get to meet some of the clients we have, and maybe you can help someone make an answer, make a suggestion. You can find what other skills other counselors have and how they go about approaching a problem to do it. So we all learn from one another. We all want to be better counselors, do that. And another way we do this is that we have a chapter meeting once a month. We have a speaker come through, and it's usually someone that can help us learn more or help us learn their perspective, how a finance institution is evaluating business plans, and maybe there's a change in how they're evaluating. Or they want to know what's the most important analysis they do. And usually it's a financial picture. Right? The narrative is an easy thing to do. So we invite people to come in and help us become better counselors on a monthly basis, and that works out very well with that.
So SCORE is a national organization.
Indeed.
I'm very impressed that it exists at all.
Over 40 years.
And that's fantastic also. Could you give us a little idea about how this came about? Is there a history to SCORE? I mean, who came up with this idea?
I'm not sure I know the answer to all that.
Okay.
I know, I think the best way to do that would probably go to the SCORE website. That'd be www.score.org.
Okay, we'll put
And
that right on
I think
the
we might
screen.
have some information that would do that, but I do know it's supported by the SBA. We're an affiliate of the
Right.
SBA. In fact, in the Albany area, our offices are courtesy of the SBA. They provide space for us, right at the Albany County Chamber of Commerce building off of Computer Drive South to do that. But I think more importantly, because SCORE is a nationwide network, I can draw on other counselors' expertise and services throughout the country.
Oh, wow.
So if I have a client, and I've had this come to me with an area I'm not well versed, and they ask me a very specific question, I said, I don't know that, but if you would like, I'll be glad to pose that question on our listserv. Again, there's our internet coming into play.
Right.
And no names, just here, I have a client with this type of question. Anybody here can help us. And I'll pose that to the thousands of counselors in the country, and let's see what kind of responses we get, and I can put you in direct contact with someone in Maryland or Utah or California or Texas or Michigan or Rochester, and you can converse with them on a direct basis, and I'm sure they'd be glad to help you out. So the power of the national organization relates to the fact that we can reach out to other counselors that have experienced this and draw their expertise, their talent, to come and help somebody here in the Albany area.
Well, I hope when someone meets another person, if that person is thinking about starting a business, that they remember SCORE and give you a call, because it seems like we can use a lot more of this kind of help.
Always looking for more counselors, and we have counselors joining us all the time
Okay.
to do that. And always ask people who want to volunteer their services. It's exciting, it's challenging, it's something to keep the mind active, that's for sure. And if people like to volunteer and have some free time, we have a lot of administrative work within the chapter to make it work. They can always come work with some of our in-house administrators, that other volunteers in our group, to do that. And look for clients. You may be surprised where you can find clients outside of the Christmas parties coming up and other parties that you may go to. Someone may say, my cousin is a hairdresser, and she wants to have her own shop, but she's a little afraid to make that step. Is anybody could take her hand and help her with that, or something else to do it? And you could step up and say, here's my card, please give us a call. There's free services available for you that you may not know about, but experienced people have answered those questions for you before, and we'd be glad to help them out to do that. So always looking for new clients.
We're just about out of time, and I always ask if there's anything that I didn't ask, anything that we didn't cover that you're thinking of.
Well, I'd like to reiterate the fact that we work with new businesses, certainly existing businesses, whether it be 1 year old or 50 years old, businesses that are looking to expand or change their direction, want some suggestions and advice, we work with them. And of course, local not-for-profit organizations, we also work with them. Available to come to us, we can go to them, we can meet, have open-ended conversations, carry the relationship and build that relationship over a long time so we can continue to give the services that we like to give.
And you're open to other volunteers, and
Oh,
I
very
think
much
that's a
so.
very enriching
Very much
thing
so.
as well.
We always like to have more volunteers, and all industries and all occupations, whether it be insurance, rocket science, or university professors. We have we've experienced them all. They're in our system and very welcome, and bring a great part.
We did a little show on social capital a few weeks ago, and you seem to be a very strong and valuable piece of our social capital. I hope that we can grow it.
I hope so too.
I want to thank you
Thank
for
you.
being on the show, David.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank everybody for watching and invite you to the next show, and hope you have a great week. Take care.
Welcome to Channel 17, the Town of Colonie Government Channel.